Okay, let's talk. Cyberpunk 2077. My overview on it. I guess I would have to say it's not bad, but it's not great. It's somewhere in the middle. And this is a new series that I'm gonna do. I don't know what the name is yet. I'll think of that when I upload it. But we're just gonna sit and talk about Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know the length. I don't know. I'm just sitting here and talking. So let's get into it. First thing, glitches. Okay, fine. Glitches usually don't ruin game for me. I don't really care about them. Sometimes they make it funny. They take you out of it a little bit, but they're not the worst thing in the world. But the glitches in this game are sometimes the worst thing in the world. There were so many times where I did something and I fell through the map, had to go back. I did something, it glitched out, had to go back. Or there's objects and items that it says I can pick them up. It has the image, but it doesn't let me to pick them up. And that's really frustrating, you know? But glitches aren't the reason why this game is not on par. I think let's just go over it layer by layer, all right? First, gameplay. Gameplay is amazing. It's incredible. You're seeing it right now. I love shooting guns. I love being in slow-mo. I love slicing people with the mantis blades. All of it's really, really great and well done. Okay? Looting's okay. Looting's a hard thing to get right in games, and I don't think they got it that right. For me, there's so many food items to pick up, and I never eat them, and I don't sell them because they're not worth anything, and it takes too long. It's just like wasted time, I guess, picking up those items. But other than that, the gameplay is fantastic. It's fun. It's probably the number one thing they worked on, to be honest. The gameplay. It's what they focused on. But yeah, and the gun variety is really good. Really good. There's so many different types of shotguns that even like 50 hours into the game, I was still finding new shotguns and new pistols and new revolvers and blades. I think the gameplay has no issues at all. The gameplay is great and couldn't have been done better. But, if I had more frames, I could have played better. But, we won't talk about that yet. Let's go over the driving. Driving. Alright, fine. GTA 5 set a high standard for driving. GTA 5's driving is probably the best driving I have done in a game. And I haven't played racing games, so forgive me. But this driving is okay. It's good, but only with certain cars. You have to have real nice, real high-end expensive cars. When you're starting the game, it's hard to turn. And the tiny minimap doesn't make it any better. You'd be going 100 miles per hour, and you can't see when your turn's at, and then the next turn, and then you try to turn, and you can't, and you crash into some eagle billboard. I don't know, okay? Driving's good, but I think it could have been more defined, more better. And the cars variety, too. Look, we don't have to have GTA, a custom shop, and give us a million different options that we could do. But there's not really much. I didn't even find a way to change my car's color, which is really disappointing. I mean, I know it's not the main focus, but we get all this. You get so much money too from the assaults, and once you buy your favorite car or a car that you love, there's not really much to spend money on. I mean, you have guns and stuff, but the amount of times I bought a gun at a store maybe was once or twice. Usually I'd craft it or find a better one on the ground. I never bought a gun, or armor for that case. You go to a clothing store and the clothing they have is not going to be better than what you have. There's not really a point in it. And so you're selling everything and you have all this money, but you have nothing to spend it on. And that's the problem. And that's a big problem, because if there's nothing to spend your money on, what's the point of making it? You know? But anyways, I'm not asking for GTA 5 where you can own places for 30 million bucks, but some money investments would be nice. Some like a car, And next thing I want to talk about is the characters. I think the characters are very well done. Again, CD Projekt Red does not disappoint when they create characters. All right? Every single character, not every single character, but almost all the main characters I really loved. From Jackie, from the very beginning, all the way over to Carrie, the rock star. I think they're fleshed out, they feel human, they feel great. Okay, that's not a problem at all, including Judy, Panam, Johnny Silverhand too, who has so much depth and character development. So I think check on those things. It's good on those things. And speaking of that, I want to go over this story. This story isn't it's good. It's has a lot of ideas. I just feel like it's so short. I feel like I expected a lot. Okay, with The Witcher, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but by the time I got to that point, by the time I got to a point, I thought it was near the end of the game. And then the game just flips like a 180 on you. Psych, it's not the end. We've got plenty more to go, and it's just gonna get better from here. This game wasn't like that. It was like, okay, I find out what I need to do, and then I do it, and then game over. That's it. And that kind of really sucks. That the game's campaign is 30 hours, and that's for a leisure player. If you're pretty fast, you'll finish the main campaign in less than 25 hours, which is less than The Last of Us 2, and that's only a story game. So I wish we would have gotten more focus on the main story. That's what's missing too. Because the side missions sometimes were better than the main ones. And yeah, that's okay to have that, but when you have main missions that are just okay and side missions, it just takes focus off of the main story, why we're here and what we're doing this for. With Witcher, and I know I'm comparing a lot to Witcher, but Witcher set the standard for video games for CD Projekt Red. And this is a game in 7 years development. So we expected a lot. But with Witcher, the main story, it felt like it was huge and cared for, and every single thing was important. And the side missions. It felt like the side missions were a part of the main missions. This one, it feels like there's a disconnect. I mean, a little spoiler alert, but I do missions for Johnny Silverhand, and I'm good with him. Me and him are buddies, we're friends. And then we go to the main mission, and we fucking hate our guts, and it's like it takes you out of it, Like, I did all that, and it doesn't even count. Especially with some characters. Like, you do all this for them, and then they don't show up in the main mission, which kind of sucks. It feels pointless, is I think the right word. And I think the dialogue options are pretty weak too. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I've had to do a couple parts over because of glitches, and I choose the other option, and I'm almost 60, 80, 90% of the time they say the same thing. Which, fine, alright, it takes a lot of work, to make different options, but in Witcher they did. With the Baron's place, he'd have a different thing for every single thing you would say, and you had 4 different options. But the dialogue, on the other hand, I think it's good. It's amazing. It really puts you into this world of cyberpunks and the future. It feels like a fantasy realm. I like the dialogue. I don't think there's a problem with it, especially the words that a lot of words that they invented too, like chum and swa. I don't know. They invented words, you got to play it for yourself. But the prologue, okay, I think the prologue, honestly, is I don't know, it's too long. I think the prologue shows you the beginning of the game and what you can get through, and I think the prologue is going to be a turnoff for a lot of people. For one, it's super overwhelming, and two, it's like 4 hours long, and it just feels like you're boxed in this circle. I don't know. And the heist was cool and all, but it's just so quick, and it's sad. I don't want to spoil it, but it's sad, but it doesn't feel like it's earned its right yet. I wish they would have kept a certain character in a little longer and then did it about halfway through. Maybe if that was the halfway point, I honestly think it would have done better. And you know what? It does feel like the halfway point with how short this game is. But yeah, let's talk about the graphics. Graphics are great. I'm playing on low and the city still looks great. But I mean, it's not optimized for PC. I mean, when they came out with the specs for this game, I thought I was going to be able to play it at 60 at least. And at the beginning, I was getting 30 max. And now I'm getting about 48, but still, that's a lot less than what you'd expect. Especially because this game was made a lot for PC, and they said it was ready for PC. They only delayed it because of console. But then here we are, getting it first day, and there's glitches, and it's not optimized at all. It's disappointing. That's all I gotta say. But the graphics are great, and it doesn't take away from the city. The city is so huge and beautiful. But you want the truth, and I'm dead. But you want the truth, it just feels empty. I don't know, it doesn't feel alive like it should. Like I feel in the trailers they promised us like this city that felt alive and stuff, but the NPCs seem so dull and boring. They're all doing the same thing, and then you shoot one bullet, they all look like they have the same running animation. And like GTA 5 set a standard again for NPCs. NPCs in GTA 5 are great. They'll walk around, they'll look at you, they'll say fuck off. And in this one, it's just, I don't know. It's just not that good. It's a city that just feels forced, especially with the police too. You know, there's no police driving around, or there are police stations, but there's no police. They're all just in one spot near the crime or whatever. And when you get the cops, they just teleport behind you. That's really sad. They teleport? Like, okay, GTA 5 cops teleport, but at least they teleport like around the corner, then they drive in with a cop car, and you have these wild cop car chases, and it's fun. You don't get that in Cyberpunk. As soon as you get the cops, you lose them in less than 2 seconds. Which is cool, I guess, because I don't want to wait 50 seconds to lose cops. But then again, it takes it away. Like, I just ran over somebody, and the cops are like, oh, well. They forget about it, you know? It takes you out of it again. A lot of stuff takes you out of it. But that's just my opinion. NPCs just feel very empty, and they're all fucking horny, wearing short shorts. I thought that was pretty funny. Especially these shopping guys, but they don't need to be unique. But I don't know. At least in The Witcher, you'd walk around and they'd be like, "Fuck off," or they'd be like, there was one where he'd say, "Oh, he tried to dance with the Witcher." You know, it was funny. It gave him character, and I knew those two assholes in front of the Baron's place like all this time. And as good as the city feels, it feels so unused. Like there's so much stuff they could have used. They could have used every part of the city. But a place like Pacifica just feels empty. Pacifica is just like it could have been where the biggest raids were. And you can't even get to part of the city because it's locked off. And it's not used ever in the game. It's just an empty wasteland. Like the wastelands out that are also just empty deserts. Like in GTA 5, they have deserts over there. Doesn't feel empty. It feels alive. It's funny. And in this one, it just feels empty. The Badlands. Nothing over there except assault crimes. And don't even get me started on the assault crimes, right? There's so many of them. And at first, they're a good way to make money, right? But like I said before, if you have nothing to spend it on, there's no point. And these assault crimes just start feeling like chores. They're just one after the other. Do this, do that. And like you don't get anything from it story-wise. Maybe if the cops would like know your name a little more, like, hey, this is the guy that helped us with all the crimes, or something like that. Like it helps with your street cred, but then there's a point where street cred's full, and you can't become a legend unless you choose a certain ending. So that's kind of disappointing. You do all that, and your street cred's full before you've done half of them. Oh, and speaking of chores, the gigs. I really wanted the gigs to be like cool and fun, like Witcher contracts. Here's the thing about Witcher contracts, right? You get a Witcher contracts, you talk to somebody unique, they're cool, they have dialogue, and then you hype up this beast, this monster, and you gotta prepare. You gotta get your potions, you gotta get your oils, and then you fight this monster, and they have a unique look, and it's awesome. But with gigs, it's not. Here's what you do. They call you. They say some dialogue that's been said 100 times before. They say, you need to go in and steal this thing from me. And make sure, try not to kill anybody. And if you kill them, you still get it. It doesn't matter. I mean, you get less money, but again, what are you going to spend the money on? You got everything. And they're all over the map, just gig after gig. Just padre calling you, hey, hombre, you need to do this. Wakako, hey, you need to do this. And if you do them, you don't get anything from it. It doesn't progress the story. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't raise your street cred because you're already max. It's just for nothing. It's a waste. I think something good could have been done here. Something great. They could have made it like Witcher, but they didn't. It's just chores. That's what it is. It's chores. It's like if you want to get diamond, if you're playing, or if you want to get platinum, here's a chore you got to do. You got to take out 1,500 of them. Oh, and while we're looking at the player, customization too. That's such a big disappointment. Like, the thing is, in Witcher, you didn't have to wear a stupid hat. And I get it. It's optional. But, like, the hat gets our armor, you know? But, like, the armor is cool. but it just doesn't match. And there's also not armor sets too. That was the cool thing with Witcher. They had these Witcher gears that you can get, and they look so cool, and they'll be strong for so long. And yeah, with this, it's just whatever is the better. Doesn't matter how it looks. You're gonna wear it if it gives you more armor, and your character looks really stupid. And I know you can't see your character, and that's one of my complaints too. Like we can't all have Fallout third person, but I think if you were talking to someone, sometimes it depends, but if you were talking to someone, look at all the food I have. If you were talking to someone and it went in third person like Fallout 4, I think it would add a lot. It would add a connectedness to your character that you decided how he looked. It would make it feel more immersive, I think, than being only first person. Especially because you get third person later on in the game. And yeah, it's great, but having that throughout the game I think would have added a lot. It's just a little thing that may have taken some more effort, but Fallout 4 did it, and Fallout 4 had a team of 100 developers. It took 7 years, just like this game. Okay, well, let me talk about the romance. All right, like I said, characters are so well done. Romance feels so good. Probably one of the best parts of this games. If you get this game, give it a chance with romance. I'm excited to replay on romance with the Judy. But I mean, that's as far as it goes. And my complaint about that is once you completely romance them, that's it. It's like you spend all this time and then boom, they're your partner and then over. You call them, they have the same dialogue. You can't hang with them. There's no more missions to like progress it further. It's just there's one mission where you guys romance and that's it. It's disappointing, I'd say. And not everything can be like Yennefer level types of stuff, but it's just I'd rather have one amazing romance interactions than like 9 okay ones. And you can tell they put a little more focus on Panam, and that was a good one. But I don't know, it just feels empty. The good things about this game, gameplay, dialogue, the city, the characters, everything. The city does feel empty though. I'm not gonna lie. The immersiveness, I was immersed almost all the time, except when the glitches happened and when you had to do fights. And don't even get me started on the fights. My God, you have to level up your brute status. You have to take perk points, level it up just to stand a chance in those fights. And for what? Again, for money? Money ain't gonna get you jack in this game. I think it's time to talk about the endings, and if you haven't played it yet, then you should probably go to this time. The endings. Okay, I've gotten 5 out of the 7, 8-ish endings. And look, the one with Panam, good ending. But I don't know, it just felt empty. It just didn't feel right. It felt pointless. I mean, we go all this way and we're still dying. And Johnny doesn't get a body. He goes with Alt. And like, yeah, okay, that's a happy ending, maybe. We don't know what happens. His personality probably gets consumed by Alt. Over. Done. He's no longer even Johnny. And I get it, it's a construct of him, but we were doing so well too. And you only have the choice of either making Johnny turn into a bad guy and make him take V's body, or making him go with Alt and disappear. It's like he doesn't get a happy ending, and that's fine. Sometimes characters don't get a happy ending, but it just felt pointless, especially because, right, we do all that mission with Panam and her guys, and they die, and then it didn't help anything. I'm still dying in 6 months. It's just not satisfying at all. And then after that, end of the game. That's it. You leave Night City. Almost all the choices, you leave Night City, and then if you want to keep playing in the city, you go back to the last save. And that's what I mean. This mission came out of nowhere, and it's the last mission already? Look, I get it. You want to give us 7 endings. That's great. But I'd rather have 3 amazing endings like The Witcher than 7 mediocre endings. And Panam, I'm not saying it was mediocre. Great ending, but not as good. And the suicide one, I like that they implemented in there. I'm not going to complain about that one. That one was depressing as fuck. But then again, game felt super short. I think that's one of my biggest complaints. It's just underwhelming. And then the space ending, see, that one felt more like it was part of V's. That one felt, I think that was the one. Because Jackie died trying to be a legend, and that's what they died for. So, the one where he's in space, he's robbing the casino. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on my channel. But I think this game feels off. It just feels like a song that's missing something, or this one thing is off tune. And I don't know if they had more time, they could have added more, or we rushed them. But I mean, that's kind of on them too. They kept on telling us it was ready, and then kept changing it. Like, don't tell us a game until it's ready, or at least until it's almost ready. I get you have to market, but I mean, if you tell players it's ready, they're gonna become hyped about it, and they're gonna hype it up. And the longer you take, the more hype you're building, the more you're setting that standard for legendness. And it's just not that legend game. It's not. I don't see it even being Game of the Year. Ghost of Tsushima was better than this. Ghost of Tsushima was more immersive, more character founding, and Ghost of Tsushima wasn't even that long, I don't think. But it just felt long. It just kept going. Acts in Ghost of Tsushima felt like a big thing. When you got to Act 3, it was like, whoa, here it is. We're starting this shit. We keep going. But with this game, you get to Act 3, it's like, oh, are we already at Act 3? We're almost done? We haven't even done much, though. Like in the beginning of this game, you have like 3 leads, and you have 3 main missions, and you get to choose, and that's great. And then it goes down to 1, and then there's 3 1 missions, and that's it. Game over. I'm sorry, but this game it's just too short, too underwhelming, too big of a city that's not used to its advantage. And I don't mean gigs. Look, right now I can't even jump because I'm getting another call about a gig about Padre wanting me to take out some other guy, and I just want to climb. I'm literally playing right now to give you gameplay, and I can't give you gameplay because this loser's calling me. But anyways, that's my biggest complaint. Just, it's wasted opportunity, I guess. It's like Tyler said in his song, the saddest thing to see is just wasted opportunity, and I'm dead. And I think it could have been fixed upon, and I think it could have been taken a little bit more time to get better. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but it's not an amazing game. It's not a Ghost of Tsushima. It's not The Witcher. It's not even close to those levels. And it's sad to say, but I don't think it is close to those levels. And it really should have. It has so much potential. That's the word I'm looking for. And look, there he calls me again, little Sebastian. But the gameplay is great. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. Leveling up. Leveling up isn't just... There's too much. I honestly think there's too much to level up. With Fallout 4, every time you leveled up and you got a perk point, it was huge. You're like, alright, what am I going to spend this on? What am I going to do? In this game, it's like, I'll just upgrade this. I get another perk point soon enough. I think less is better sometimes, especially with Ghost, too. And the fact that Ghost, you play one playthrough and you could get everything, I think that is crucial. I think all games should do that. That was a great idea because I got to use every single thing in Ghost and I didn't have to play for millions and millions of hours. I didn't have to do Game Plus too. I got to do everything on my first go, and it was fun. And each time I leveled up, or got a perk point, it felt like I needed it. Like, all right, I'm gonna get a huge upgrade. Like when I got the roll in Ghost, it was like, oh my god, this is great. In this game, when you level up, it doesn't really change much. Like, oh, 5% more damage on my gun. Nice. Or, oh, 5% more damage to blades. Nice. Oh, reload quickness with a revolver by 1%. It just doesn't feel like much. But I did just go the top route. Body, reflexes, technical ability. So maybe if I go through again and play and focus on intelligence, maybe it'll feel more worthy, I guess. But again, I think it should have been less. I think they should have made less of them. Especially with a game like Batman Arkham Knight. Too, even Batman Arkham Knight level up, it felt like it was worth it. When I upgraded, it felt like I was upgrading. This game, it just doesn't. And I don't know. I don't know if that's my fault or the game's. And I think there should have been more scripted events. I know I'm contradicting myself, but early on in the game, I was amazed at this because I wanted it to keep going and just keep pushing boundaries. And the heists and stuff, and the EMP with Panam, and the parade, and then that was it. It was over. Like with Witcher, there's side missions where you do a fucking heist. A side mission. I don't know. I just think it could have been done better. I think that's the last thing I will say. Everything could have been done better. It's great. I mean, it's not great. It's good. $60? I'd say it's worth $50, if I'm being honest. It's not even optimized on PC. And the city's great, but it feels empty. And it'll get you 50 hours, sure. If you want to spend... Not even. My friend played like 45 hours and he finished the game. I only spent like 60 hours because I tried doing all the assaults and stuff. But couldn't even do it because of a glitch. But, yeah, I'd say it's worth $50 at max. Wait for it to go on sale. I'm sorry. I support CD Projekt Red, but I don't think it's worth all of the $60. Ghost of Tsushima, worth it. Is it... I can't say Last of Us 2 is bad because I don't think it's that bad, just the story. Is it Witcher $60? No. Will there be DLC that makes it better? Maybe. Hopefully, is it optimized in the summer? Maybe. Maybe I'll have a different opinion when I come back to it. But I've played 50 hours. I've gotten 4 or 5 endings. I've done millions and millions of assault crimes. I played a lot of this game, so take my word. Take it. Take it. Don't take it with a grain of salt. Take it as a cup of salt, because that's what it is. I really wanted more, I guess. And you didn't get more. Maybe my standards are too high. Maybe everyone's standards are too high. But this game just feels offbeat, off balance. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it could be right. It feels like it's driving on the straight road and it's headed into that awesome place, and then it just turns just a little bit. And it's not driving on the road, so it's a little bumpy and it's not fun. I mean, it is fun, but could have been done better. And I think that's it. If you listened to all of this, thank you. Make sure to like and comment what you thought about this. It really helps me. Maybe do more of these in the future. I liked doing it. Here I am upgrading my mantis blades. And yeah, I think that's it. I know my stuff isn't organized as well. I'm kind of just talking like a whatever. But I'll work on it. I'll get better. And yeah, next game coming up, probably Dead Space 2. And I'm really looking forward to it. I guess I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for watching. Hold on. I want to see when I put this on. Check it out. I got these legendary mantis blades. First, I'm changing it out right now. Yeah. I'm going to put the slow motor so I can put the fast motor on the other motor, you know? I already did that. I don't know what's taking me so long. I'm such a slow fuck sometimes. Hey, what's up, my homie? Then I go here and I buy it. Boom. And I still have so much money. Oh, I don't have that much money left. But still. And that's it. I'm going to end it here. Bye-bye, guys.